Hey, movie lovers, this is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Podnation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history and, of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Podnation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Podnation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/PodNationPods.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libation. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Kevman, and Mike.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation, episode 187. This is our last episode for a couple weeks. Mike is going to be going away, so we're going to take a little break after this episode and then come back to you with a brand new one in a couple weeks. But for tonight, we have a very special episode. This is Kevin's idea, so send your emails to him. Or, any comments you have, you can send them to kevmanisexy@myspace.
I can justify this topic, and I think the women would be on my side for this.
So, in honor of Women's History Month, we're doing our favorite movie female villains. We're calling it female villains we love.
Look, to be a female villain, there's a lot going on. You are not a damsel in distress. You don't need no man to help you. In fact, you're probably plotting something to kill a man, or others, whoever it might be.
Which really begs the question: how are you going to explain that thing you sent me on Instagram?
The thing I sent you on Instagram.
Yeah,
I sent you a lot on Instagram. We're gonna have to
the female villain suggestion. We'll get to it when we get to the shout out section.
Okay.
That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, #1 pop culture podcast on Good Pods, and a #1 beer podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, we celebrate cinema with a drink in hand and a touch of irony. Since it's Women's History Month, we thought, what better way to honor it than by discussing the most diabolical female villains in movie history. From wicked queens to corporate sharks, these ladies didn't just break the glass ceiling, they shattered it with pure evil. Whether they're poisoning apples, plotting world domination, they prove that villainy knows no gender. So grab a drink, clutch your pearls, and let's raise a toast to the bad girls who make our movies oh so good. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. You can now find us on the Podnation Media Network on Roku, or become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us, because we are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members-only content. That's right. For a $1 donation, Mike will get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Go to patreon.com/filmsandfermentation or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com. You can also text us at 904-867-4466. We actually got another text submission for tonight. I don't know if it's the same person that told me to shut the fuck up or not, but we got a text.
Wow.
In the meantime, let's talk about our drinks for this evening. I'm gonna go first this week. I was originally going to do a theme drink. I found a drink called the Annie Wilkes Old Fashioned. So it was an old fashioned based on the character Annie Wilkes from Misery. But then at the last second, I was like, I don't feel like making a drink, and I could really go for a beer. So I'm drinking a beer. So I'm drinking Mud Hen Brewing Company's Herd Boy. Oh, Hero Boy. I'm sorry. I thought it was a D. Hero Boy. I thought it was ironic to drink a Hero Boy on Women's Villainy Night. It is a Belgian-style strong ale with cherry and spice, 9% alcohol by volume. And I believe, Kev, this is one of the ones that you gave me.
Yeah, that was one I got you for Christmas.
Yes, it is. It's pretty good. It's a little bitter, but not bad. And it comes from Wildwood, New Jersey.
That's right. Decent brewery.
Yeah, it's not bad. So whoever wants to go next.
I'll go.
Go for it.
Because mine's very easy. Since, I just went to Wawa on the way home and got myself a Coke. So I decided, you know what? Let's put some Old Smoky's blackberry whiskey in my Coke.
Nice.
And that's in my Dungeons and
little-
Dragons.
little blackberry Coke.
Yep.
We got the we're gonna try to do we're gonna get like the cherry Coke and the Jack and do like the frozen cherry thing. We're gonna try that one night. Kev, what are you drinking, sir?
I have two on deck. I have the Smithwick's Red Ale from, I believe this is Guinness's brewery. Hold on, let me check. Yep, from Guinness. It is, an Irish red, and it is 4.5% alcohol by volume. And I have Harp's Lager. These came from a Guinness variety pack,
Nice.
which is 4.5% alcohol by volume.
'Tis the season with St. Patty's Day coming up soon. So
Yeah.
all right, moving on to our next segment.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
Go ahead, sir. It's all you.
It's all me. Okay. In 1902, a United States Court of Appeals rules that Thomas Edison did not, I repeat, did not invent the movie camera.
Which begs the question that I wish I had researched earlier. Who invented the movie camera? Let's see if I can find that real quick. Who invented the movie camera? It says
Mulberry. Mulberry did the initial one with the horse at a race.
Okay. So the camera itself, though, it says it has Thomas Edison listed as an inventor, but he's listed with William Fries Green and Louis LaPrince. LaPrince. So one of those guys invented it, and Edison claimed he did.
There are stories, sir. Some appreciation. I received something from a colleague. Yeah. Louis LaPrince was actually he went missing after he was trying to set this up. I mean, Edison's shady as shit.
Yeah.
Because he invented everything.
Tesla will tell you that.
I'm gonna have to find it, but I'll send that information to you.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll have to read that up. So what's your next one you got there, Mike?
1940, The Road to Singapore, directed by Victor Singer, starring Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, and Dorothy Lamour. First of 7 such films premieres.
So I don't know much about the road movies other than this Family Guy spoofs. So I looked it up on Wikipedia. There were 7 films: Road to Singapore in 1940.
Yep.
Road to Zanzibar in 41. Road to Morocco in 42. Road to Utopia in 43. They were banging these motherfuckers out, man, one after another. Road to Rio in 1947, Road to Bali in 52, and the Road to Hong Kong in 1962. And then there was an eighth one that they were going to film in 1977 called Road to the Fountain of Youth. But ironically, Bing Crosby died that year.
Yeah.
So they had to cancel it. And in reading this article, I learned something else that I did not know. One of my favorite 80s films, Spies Like Us, with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, is an homage to the Road to films.
Okay.
Because a lot of what they do in the film is like reminiscent of what Hope and Crosby did.
Right.
Bob Hope appears in the movie. And there's a running joke in the film about the road to Dushanbe. So it's like an homage to it, which I didn't know, which I thought was kind of cool. Give me your next one there, sir.
In 1946, American film noir classic Gilda, starring Rita Hayworth and Glenn Ford, and directed by Charles Vidor, premieres in New York City.
Now, of course, we all know this movie from Shawshank Redemption.
I don't have her down my pants, I'm proud to say.
I love that shit she does with her hair. Yeah. And that prompted me to watch this movie because I love Shawshank so much. And it's a good film. And man, Rita Hayworth is something else. Jesus. She is something else. And I'm hopefully we have some new friends at a podcast called let me get the name here. I have it written down somewhere. Mean Streets, the film noir podcast. They sent us a submission for tonight, and I hope they're listening because they're a podcast about noir films. There's a noir film right there.
Yes, sir.
So what's your next one you got there, sir?
1956, The Searchers, American Western film directed by John Ford and starring John Wayne and Natalie Wood, is released.
Yeah. I can't say anything about it. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's probably
also has what's his name? Jeffrey Hunter.
Yeah.
Because he
is. Now, like, you're the John Wayne guy. I know you've seen more Wayne films than I have. Is this his best film in your opinion, or would it be like True Grit? Like, he won the Oscar for True Grit.
Yeah, it's one of them. I mean, it's hard. I could probably give you a top 5 list of mine, but I don't know how I would rank them. They're all like it'd be like, one A, B, C, D.
Like I love his first film too, Stagecoach. It's a great movie. And then we all love The Quiet Man. We did a whole episode on it. So
and there's movies like Hatari, and it's more of a comedy type film, or animal protection type film, and that, but a lot of comedy in it, which is not known for John Wayne's known for.
Yeah, but my dad's favorite Wayne film was Green Berets. Yeah. I know it's not one of his more popular films. But my dad likes.
Yeah.
You a fan of Genghis Khan?
No. No.
Give me your next fact there, Mike.
Where was that? 1964. Gene Roddenberry brings together a 16-page pitch for the original Star Trek series.
And world peace is achieved. At least for us, because we're all Star Trek fans.
Yes. We don't fight over which is better, Star Wars or Star Trek. We don't do that.
No, we don't do that. We're mixed race. We like both.
That Battlestar Galactica.
What'd you say there? What'd you say, Kev?
Gandalf's my favorite.
Gandalf's your favorite. Use the Force, Luke, said Gandalf. What's the next one you got there, Mike?
1972, The Godfather, based on a book by Mario Puzo, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and starring Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, premieres in New York City. Academy Award Best Picture, 1973. Also an episode 85.
That's right. I figured since we already had a whole episode for the 50th anniversary of this film, if you'd like to know more about our views on The Godfather, check out episode 85, which is all the way back, I want to say, in season 3 of our podcast. Yeah, God, we can't. There's too much to say. Just listen to our old episode 85.
Exactly.
What's the next one you got there, sir?
1978, The Incredible Hulk, starring Bill Bixby as David Banner, premieres on CBS.
I never knew why they changed it to David Banner from Bruce Banner. I don't know. There was like a reason for it.
I think that was because of Bruce. I think it was because of Batman.
Because of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I think they
Okay.
didn't want the confusion.
I thought his real name in the comic books was David Bruce Banner. He just used Bruce.
Maybe you would know better than I would because you're more comic book than I am.
Yeah, but I don't know a lot about the Hulk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing that Kevin said makes sense because that just goes to like back to like studios not thinking their audience is smart enough.
Mm.
So, we can't have the same name as another superhero character. Call him David. What's the next one you got there, sir?
Well, this was actually the first one I put on the list because I saw it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
1982, the funeral of John Belushi was held at Martha's Vineyard with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and James Taylor in attendance. 4 days earlier, the 33-year-old Belushi had died from a lethal combination of heroin and cocaine at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles.
Yeah, dark day for comedy.
Yes,
it's one of those deaths where it's like, God, if he had lived, what would he have done? Like,
how much
more could he do?
I always find it interesting as we talk about something like the Blues Brothers in an episode, and the following week something comes up about one of the actors.
The internet's always listening. But it's amazing too because his movie career wasn't all that extensive, but he's still like such a figure.
Right.
Yeah. Next one, sir.
1982 ABC TV crime drama T.J. Hooker premieres starring William Shatner.
Who else was in that show? Do you remember?
Heather Locklear.
Yeah.
I watched that show. I knew.
I assumed you would. Yeah, that seems like a you kind of show.
Hey, he went from commanding a starship to driving a Chevrolet.
Is this the one where they drove motorcycles? The police drove motorcycles?
No, that's
Chips.
That's Chips.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
California Highway Patrol.
Yeah, no. This was actually a prime time.
Yeah, this is a
series.
primetime cop show. Yeah, that he had done like after Star Trek and all that. Who was the actor in Chips that was like real popular? It was a Spanish actor. I can't think of his name. Eric Estrada.
Yeah, Eric Estrada. Yeah.
Chips, next one you got
Which is,
there.
as we know,
Also, here's a fun fact for you for Chips, though.
What?
Chris Pine's dad is in it.
Chris Pine's dad is in Chips?
Yeah, he's the chief.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay. What were you saying, Kev?
I was saying Eric Estrada is the Latin version of William Shatner.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
you know what? You know what? It probably
see that.
It probably is.
You can probably see that. Yes.
You put them side to side. I know you're excited about the next one, sir.
1997, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, created by Josh Wheaton and starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, premieres on WB Television Network.
Yeah, I love Buffy. It's such a great show. It was so different from the movie too, and I think that's what made it so good. Was that it didn't try to be the movie.
If they tried to do a series of the movie, I think it would flop.
Yeah, because the movie was like
a comedy.
It was I mean, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show, wasn't a comedy, but it had comedic moments.
Yeah, but I think the movie was more of a spoof.
Yeah, it was more of a spoof. Again, you had fucking Pee Wee Herman playing a vampire. So. What's the last one you got there, sir?
In 2018, superhero movie The Black Panther becomes the 5th Marvel movie to earn $1 billion worldwide.
And I read that they are recasting T'Challa, but not to replace Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther, but to be like a variant Panther for like the upcoming like Secret Wars movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because like they did a lot of the other characters.
Didn't at the end of Wakanda Forever wasn't the son of T'Challa named T'Challa?
Yeah,
Okay.
but he was a little kid. I don't know.
Come on,
I think
by the time they make the next movie, he'll be, prime age.
I know. But like I think like that universe of Marvel, which is I guess the 616 is Shuri is the Black Panther now. So this is going to be like somebody from a different, like, multiverse version of Black Panther, or as far as I could tell. I don't know.
Or
That's
something or another.
Yeah, have to wait and see when those movies come out. We'll see. So that's the end of film history with Mike. We're going to go on to another segment, just because I got to play my new song.
Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates with Leo. Movie updates Leo.
That one I might actually record my own voice. So I wasn't planning on doing this segment every week unless I had something that I really wanted to talk about, and I really want to talk about this week. I'll start with the second one first because that's at least positive news. John Bernthal did a interview recently about the upcoming Punisher special on Disney Plus. It's going to be like it's not going to be a series like the first couple seasons of Punisher. It's going to be like a movie, but a Disney Plus exclusive. And he's very protective of the character and has a lot to say about how they portray it because he's a fan of the Punisher comic books.
Good.
And so he said in the interview, I'm getting the opportunity to tell the story that I think the fans deserve. It's not going to be Punisher light. I guarantee it.
Good.
And I'm really happy about that.
I just heard Disney reopen the Touchstone vaults. They don't have to have their name associated with it. We're bringing back Touchstone.
On a side note for that, so I watched the first 2 episodes of Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I guess you guys read my text that Adrian's not going to watch any more of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I couldn't wait to hear from you because I wanted to hear her reaction to that opening scene.
Oh, I'm
not going to say what happened for anybody who hasn't watched it yet, but like we all know what we're talking about. So
she was pissed.
Have either of you guys watched the 3rd episode yet?
Not yet. No.
Yep.
Oh, dude, the episode itself is okay. It's mostly the court case that he's working on with the White Tiger guy.
Okay.
The last 5 minutes of the episode fucking blow you away. It's amazing. The last 5 minutes. I'm not gonna say anything more. Just I'll wait to hear from you after you watch the episode. But it's awesome. Good. The other thing I talked about on here is Oscar rage bait. So we did our awards episode last week, and we talked about how much of a joke the Oscars tend to be because they're so out of touch with everything. But then I read some of this stuff recently, and it made me even more angry. Ralph Fiennes, I thought, should have won the Best Acting Oscar for Conclave. They gave it to Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. And one of the reasons that came out, according to one of the Oscar voters, this comes after Ralph Fiennes lost Best Actor votes for Conclave due to a false belief that he had already won the Oscar earlier in his career. Now,
so they did it because he had already had his turn?
Yes. So, he's never won an Oscar. He's only been nominated one other time. That was for Schindler's List, which he should have won an Oscar for. And 2, so they gave it to Adrian Brody, who I would like to remind them has won an Oscar already. He has won an Oscar already. This is the second. So if you were going to give it to somebody other than Ralph Fiennes, it probably should have went to Chalamet for the Bob Dylan movie. Thank you for my headphones. Are they working? I can hear the guys and all that, so that's working for now. The other piece of rage bait I have here is 4 Oscar voters admitted that they hadn't seen Dune Part 2, which is why they didn't vote for it.
If you're going to vote on the Oscar voters, you got to watch the damn movie.
You can't be, if you're going to be given the responsibility to be an Oscar voter, you should be required.
Especially there's only 8 nominations.
There's 10 movies nominated.
So they got 20 hours to watch. Jesus Christ, that's half a week of work.
So there are over 10,000 members of the Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences. Over 9,000 of them are eligible to vote. That means they don't all vote, but a majority of them do. Here's the thing. For the people who do vote on it, they receive screeners of the films. they send them copies of the movies to watch. So it's not like they didn't have access to the film or something. Or that they
it's not
couldn't
like they have to go out and buy it.
buy or go to the fucking movie theater or something.
They were offended by the popcorn buckets.
Yeah, not that Dune was exactly. Not that Dune was. I thought that would have got them some votes. Not that Dune was going to win anyway, but it would have had more votes. And the movie that did win, Anora, it came out this week that the producers of that film spent over $18 million in campaigning for the film.
See, yeah, you should be campaigning for films.
Yeah, it's like you're not running for president.
You should be getting that money for that either.
Yeah, like here's the thing: like they spent $18 million campaigning for the movie. Dune didn't do that because they used that $18 million to make it a fantastic fucking film.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And that's also because the other movie that was supposed to win was that Emilia Perez. That was the leader until all the controversy came out on that. So
you just did this to piss me off more about the Oscars, didn't you?
It pissed me off. That's why I wanted to read it, man, because I watch the Oscars every year, so I was very pissed off. Anyway, Mike, you have any must-try beer craft destination for Steven?
No.
You don't?
I didn't pick them out. Give me a sec. I can get one.
No, that's okay. We'll just go on to Kev's. Oh, you got one? Okay. Mike, you have any must-try beer craft?
Well, yes, I do. I got a New York brewing Omega Gang. Yeah, that's the one.
Omegang Brewery.
Yes, in New York. Brewery Omegang is a farmstead brewery specializing in production of craft Belgian style beer. They offer beer tastings, brewery tours, incredible food at their in-house restaurant, on-site camping, and lots of outdoor concerts and events. The facility welcomes nearly 80,000 visitors per year. Facility highlights include indoor seating along a windowed wall with unobstructed view of the surrounding fields and hills, a 4,000 square foot covered patio, and the extended retail space to accommodate the brewery's growing number of small batch limited releases. Omegang.
I love
which I've had, yes. So put that on the list of places to go.
That is a place, all jokes aside, I do want to go to. I really would love to go visit the Omegang Brewery one day. One of my wife's cousins went there, and the crowlers that they give you look like they look like the gorilla weights. It's like the weight with the little handle on the top. So, moving on here.
Hello, everybody. Kevin. Some articles for us today. This is straight out of a scientific website. I know because it's got glasses on. It's from Study Finds. It is "Don't Beach and Booze: Why Alcohol Makes It Easier to Get a Sunburn." And this is something not many people follow. I admit, I myself enjoy a cold one on the beach. But
beach booze.
I am also so clear or so white. I'm practically clear, so I sunburn incredibly easily. It is a long scientific study that's on this site, so I'm going to try to break it down in small bits.
Break it down.
In a nutshell, drinking alcohol increases the likelihood of sunburn. In a national representative study, 21.5% of sunburned individuals reported drinking alcohol at the time, likely due to impaired judgment, reduced sunscreen reapplication, or longer sun exposure. Sunburn risks are high among young males and wealthy individuals. The study found that younger adults between 18 to 39, men, and people with higher incomes were significantly more likely to experience sunburns, challenging the assumption that wealthier or more educated individuals are more protected. Frequent sunburns drastically raise skin cancer risk. Just 5 blistering sunburns before age 20 increase melanoma risks by 80%, making sun protection, like using sunscreen, seeking shade, and wearing protective clothing, essential for long-term skin health. There are common types of skin cancer and what they look like. There's the basal cell carcinoma, which shows up as a shiny bump or pinkish patch. The squamous cell carcinoma, which appears red, scaly patches and open sores. And then melanoma, often looking like an unusual mole or changes to an existing one. So what can you do? What's to be done? Smart strategies. Sunscreen isn't enough on its own. Choose broad spectrum protection with SPF 30 or higher. Me personally, I go for SPF 75 or higher. And apply it every 15 to 30 minutes before going out. I'm sorry, apply it 15 to 30 minutes before going outside and then reapply it every 2 hours.
I wear an SPF so high, I come back whiter than I did before I went out into the sun.
My skin reflects the light. That's how high my SPF is.
I come off the sand and I'm neon white.
You want to watch your timing. UV rays peak at between 9 and 4 p.m. So those are the direct hours. Be careful when you're out there. Cover up. Wear long sleeves and pants, wide-brimmed hats, and UV-blocking sunglasses. Try to seek shade. I never go to the beach without an umbrella or a canopy of some sort. Umbrellas, trees, other shelters can drastically reduce it. Don't do tanning beds. Indoor tanning beds dramatically increase the risk of skin cancer. Check your skin. Not something that most people do. I mean, can you look at your skin and be like, hey,
I want to go back real quick. Who the hell is going to wear long sleeves and pants on a freaking beach?
Emo kids.
Yeah.
Goth kids.
Well, emo
Who's
kids are the
looking
only
like
ones
a
who are going to
Negro
live
man?
through this. Goth kids, they're going to live through this shit.
Why'd you paint your face white? It's not painted white. It's zinc. But
I know, like
my
my nephews wear like they put the little body armor sleeves on them and stuff, so they're protected and all that.
Yep. When you do check your skin, use the ABCDE rule, looking for asymmetry, border irregularity, color changes, diameter increases, and evolution.
That is hard for me to do, considering all of that just happens as I get older anyway. My diameter has been increasing for 15 years now.
Be extra careful around water, snow, and sand because they're reflective surfaces. They can give you more exposure, especially in the shaded bits and areas. And then just stay hydrated. That's going to help your skin.
Talk about my bits and areas.
I'm so large and pale that if I go on the beach and take my shirt off, it looks like Tatooine.
Oh, I thought they were saying Moby Dick.
What do you know about my dick?
It's not Moby.
This is a headline just informed to me by Mike prior to us recording. Prohibition whiskey bottles, still presumably full of booze, are found on the beach along the Jersey Shore. This is taking place in Margate. A man found nearly a dozen Prohibition-era whiskey bottles on the beach.
Yes.
Oh, I needed that burp for this name. Austin Cantaligalamacamo.
So would you like me to read it for you as the Italian
please.
On staff?
My resident Italian, please pronounce that for us.
Conte Giacomo.
Conte Giacomo.
Conte Giacomo.
Giacomo.
Although it's weird for a person with the last name Conte Giacomo to have Austin as a first name.
Boy, he's from Texas.
From South Jersey.
Started sniffing around the sand during a walk near Margate Pier last month. That's when he discovered 11 sealed containers, still presumably full of booze, embossed with the name Lincoln Inn. I know where that is. That's in Ben Salem.
Not Lincoln in.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. It's that Lincoln. It's not the one where you pay
They
by
charge
the hour.
by the hour.
Would you like the mirrors on your ceiling, sir?
Ooh, the bath has
The magic.
bubbles.
Oh, magic fingers.
He posted photos.
That's not even a vibrator to mattress. That's just a homeless dude that sleeps inside the mattress and goes like that while you're laying down.
Quarters.
Mr.
Spare change. This beer really is 9% alcohol by volume.
Mr. Conte Giacomo posted
Very
photos
good,
of the
sir.
find on thank you, YouTube and Reddit, where people went wild about the discovery. Users believe the bottles were from Montreal, Quebec, and circulated in the U.S. during Prohibition. The Jersey coast was part of the rum runners' route when alcohol was illegal in the 1920s and early 30s. Conte Giacomo told reporters he shared some of the bottles with friends and his father. He does not have any plans to open the whiskey to find out if it's still drinkable. If you want to see something similar up close, the Margate Historical Society Museum has other scavenged Prohibition bottles on display.
I'm curious. I was hoping to find out if he opened them and tried it, because I'd be curious to see if it's still good. I would imagine.
I don't know, man.
I would imagine
every time they find something that's like ancient, like hundreds or thousands of years old, they're like, it's probably still drinkable.
Yeah,
you go for
it. If you would think about it, if it was out in the ocean and washed up, so it's been in a dark place, so it doesn't have the sun issue to make it go bad. The ocean's cold as shit. So
and the bottles, if they were sealed, they're airtight if they were sealed correctly, so there shouldn't be any like bacteria getting inside the bottle. So it's interesting. I'd wonder. I'd love to have a taste of it.
And technically, whiskey doesn't really go bad.
And I'm gonna say, like, if I die trying it, at least I went out happy. And what's your last one you got there, sir?
All right, for this, we go to the great state of New Jersey, everybody's favorite place.
Armpit of America.
That's right. This is about Jersey's most popular beer. If you're living in New Jersey, you should probably celebrate being in such an awesome state. Treat yourself to a slice of pizza, your favorite brew, in a chilled glass. Better? The site, Coffeeness, recently performed a study to determine America's beer preferences. They were able to find the most popular brand of each state. Is the favorite of the Garden State one of your go-tos? Let's find out. Overwhelmingly, the U.S. preferred Miller. It was the favorite in 30 states, but not ours. Our neighbors in New York tend to reach for a bottle of Heineken. Pennsylvania, however, prefers a good old...
I always knew New Yorkers like to grab that Heine.
The most popular beer brand in the state of New Jersey is...
Thank you, Bubba.
Guinness.
Guinness. Wow.
Guinness.
My wife just gave me a shamrock sugar cookie that she made.
To learn this, as we're nearing St. Patty's Day, New Jersey beer drinkers are likely to purchase a pint of Guinness. Why is it so popular? As an Irish stout with a distinctive dark appearance and robust flavor profile, Guinness differs significantly from the light lager that's dominating the American beer scene. New Jersey has a significant Irish-American communities, particularly in urban areas where the tradition of enjoying a Guinness may be more culturally embedded. In addition to the Garden State, Guinness was also a favorite among Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah.
So we are moving on to our main segment tonight. Before we do that, I have switched to another drink. I finished that beer that I had mentioned earlier, the Hero beer, and my wife came in and looked at it, and she's looking at the can, and she goes, 9% alcohol by volume, huh? No wonder why you sound so happy. And so I have switched to something a little lighter. I am drinking now a Bombshell Raspberry Hard Cider from Warhorse Brewery in New York. This is only 6.8% alcohol by volume, and it's tasty. And our main segment this evening, in honor of Women's History Month, we are looking at female villains that we love, our favorite evil ladies from cinema. Just a addendum to this: we are not talking about Disney films. We are excluding Disney villains because honestly, that can be an episode in and of itself. In fact, I'm thinking if we do a Disney villain episode, that could be a bracket episode.
Well,
I will say it looks as if Gal Gadot being an evil queen is she can be my evil queen.
That's all the comments I'm reading online is who's supposed to believe that Gal Gadot is jealous of Farquaad. That that's a whole nother story of that film.
Yeah.
So what we did tonight is each of us picked out 5 characters from movies that we, are afraid of but love anyway. And each one of us is going to take turns talking about our character and why we chose them. And then we have some viewer submissions that we're going to read out afterwards, including a submission that my wife gave me of her favorite female villains. And we'll move on from there. And if you're watching us on YouTube or watching us on the PodNation Media Network, I will be posting up pictures of some of these characters on screen. If you're listening to us on one of our audio platforms, hopefully you're familiar with some of these movies.
And you can imagine them.
And you can imagine these characters yourself. So I will begin with the villain that I stole from everybody else.
Yeah.
Mike and Kevin, I think we're both thinking of this character, but I got to it first. And that character for me is Annie Wilkes, played by Kathy Bates in the 1990 Stephen King horror film Misery, a movie that won Kathy Bates the Oscar for Best Actress, something that doesn't happen very often for horror films, But it's such an interesting character because she's so sweet and sugary on the outside, but so innately evil on the inside. And the picture I'm going to bring up is the part of the movie.
Please take it away.
Now it's right before the action, it's just the setup for it. But yes, it's the picture I brought up is for anybody familiar with the movie Misery is the hobbling scene as it's referred to, which in the novel is actually different. In the novel, she chops his leg off with an axe. But I think the hobbling is worse.
I think the hobbling is worse. Oh my God. When I first saw that, I'm like,
let me tell you something.
I'm traumatized by that scene.
I am too. I can't watch it. If I watch the movie, I go right past that scene. I have seen the Human Centipede. I have seen Saw. I have seen a Serbian film, which many people consider the most disturbing film of all time.
Is that Tusk?
No, it's a movie called A Serbian Film is the name of the film.
Oh, okay.
Tusk is its own animal. And I have seen movies that are considered disturbing and gross, plenty of them. Nothing freaks me out quite like the hobbling scene in Misery. It just the first time I saw it, I went, holy shit. And then she does it to both legs too, and it's like, oh no.
Good night, folks. I'm done.
I thought James Caan's death in The Godfather was less brutal than the Hobbit. So yeah, that's my winner there. My number one on my list is Annie Wilkes, Kathy Bates in the film Misery from 1990. I can't even. Go ahead.
Have you seen? It's this woman who goes into a Barnes and Noble, and it's recorded. And she does this whole scene looking for books. What was the name of the author? It was no, I know not Stephen King. The fictitious author.
James Caan's character.
Yeah. And she's going in and she's screaming that she's looking for these books. I need to see Misery's Revenge or something like that. But she's dressed up like her too. So, it's kind of a thing. It's great. I'll have to find it and send it to you.
You have to send it to me. His character's name was Paul Sheldon.
Paul Sheldon. I'm looking for Paul Sheldon's books. Yeah.
Yeah, that was she makes him write a book to bring the character back to life.
Yeah.
You killed my Misery! Oh, man. Just a great performance. It's a great movie. One I haven't seen in a while. I probably have to fire that one up again. I will, though, fast forward past the hobbling scene.
Yeah.
So moving on to Mike's first one on his list. Go ahead, Mike. Why don't you?
My
introduce that?
first one is Meredith Johnson, played by Demi Moore in the 1994 Disclosure.
There she is on the screen for you.
Oh man, talk about taking the sexual, not abuse, but
Harassment.
harassment, that is it, and just turning it on its head.
Yeah. It was a great book. I'm a huge Michael Crichton fan, and it was such a different kind of book for him. And I also remember it came out. I was still very young. I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is like porn with words to it." But then the movie came out. The movie was even really good.
So it was pretty much porn for you.
I remember about this movie is like it was a big deal that the sexual harassment was like a reverse thing where like the woman's harassing the guy, and does anybody believe him?
Right.
And a movie that nowadays I think would be a little more difficult to make.
Yes. Back in the 90s, men don't get sexually harassed.
Right.
But didn't it like also turn into like a movie about
it's like men being raped. It's like man's ever going to claim that he was raped.
It's also didn't the movie at some point turn into something like a tech espionage thing where like they were developing this program that was like VR and
it's kind of the basis for it. So the whole thing is they work at a tech company. It's like they are producing. This is how advanced it was. They were producing quad speed CD-ROM drives. Okay. And they were looking at the bandwidth it would take for a 28.8 modem to be able to send information back and forth. But that's the basis of it. And when the suit takes place and the claim about sexual harassment, and he has evidence in different pockets and stuff, they attempt to make him look. They fire him and they attempt to make him look inept. They attempt to make him look bad at his job so that it's a justifiable firing or a justifiable reason why he didn't get the promotion that this woman did. So
for anybody struggling with that technical jargon that Kevin just threw out there, for anybody who grew up in the 80s and 90s like we did, it basically is a movie positing that instead of taking 3 hours to download a picture of Tiffany Amber Thiessen, it would only take 2 hours. So that's a different one, Mike. It's honestly, when I looked at your list earlier, I was like, wow, that didn't seem like a Mike movie to me. Like that's not one I expected to see on your list.
Well, like I said, I had to replace two, so
yeah. But I'm glad you chose it though, because I feel like it's one that
it needed
kind of got forgotten and
because it's not a violent film. That's why it's not a violent.
I'm not talking about from that respect. I just feel like it's a film that you don't hear about much anymore, and with Demi Moore's recent revival, quote unquote, with her Oscar nomination and all, it's nice to have her on the list. Yeah.
Yep.
Kev's first one is one that I thought about putting on my list, and I was like, you know what, I'll save it for other people.
This is a shout out to my wife because this was one of her favorite movies.
Wrong picture. Hold on, let me move it.
Whoa!
Whoa! There we go. That's just a scary.
This is Agatha Trunchbull, played by Pam Ferris in the movie Matilda, done in 1996. Cute movie.
I like Matilda.
Based off the children's book. I've seen the play. This is the disciplinarian. I guess she was also a teacher at the school. She was the complete polar opposite of Miss Honey, played by Embeth Davis.
Miss Honey.
And the biggest thing about her is she forced a kid to eat an entire chocolate cake, and she kept putting kids in the chokey. Which was like a very small.
She was the principal, I believe, right?
She was. She was
the principal, and was Miss Honey like her niece or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, Katie just yelled from the other room, "It's her niece." So I was like, "Yeah, I think I couldn't react."
She's just a vile-looking woman, a mean lady to kids.
And the actress, like, I feel bad when actors and actresses get thrown into roles like this because it's like, There was a role you were born to play. Unfortunately, we know why.
Yeah.
That's 'cause, you
It's
know.
like Steve Buscemi's not going to be a GQ model much. You know?
She was actually also in one of the Harry Potter films. She was the
ant that blows up.
The ant that blows up and floats away. Yeah, it's the same actor, Pam Ferris. I like Matilda. I think it's a good movie. It's directed by Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
it starred and directed it. Rhea Perlman was in it as well.
Yeah,
and it's a cute movie. I mean, the original story I think is British.
Mm-hmm.
It's Roald Dahl who wrote the book, who did Willy Wonka and all those books. Is Roald Dahl,
Right.
But yeah, I like this movie. I think it's a fun little watch. Good one to revisit once in a while because it's, even though it's a kids film, it's not like an irritating kids film. Like you can sit and watch it and enjoy it. And all. So that's a good one. Trunch Bowl. My next one on my list.
Now, real quick with your list before you announce it, most of the people I talked about this after, like I needed two more.
Mm-hmm.
This was like their number one.
Oh yeah,
villain.
yeah. This was one of my wife had mentioned this one too, and like I didn't put it down as one of her shout outs because I already had it on my list. But yeah, this was like when I did like research looking up websites for like number one female villains in movies, like she was always at like, if not number one, at the top of the list somewhere.
Yeah.
And that is Alex Forrest as played by Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction from 1987. Here is a picture of Glenn Close trying to kill Michael Douglas with a kitchen knife.
Don't trust her with your bunnies.
Yeah, I mean the bunny scene is probably worse than the knife scene here.
I think the bunny scene is probably the most infamous scene from the film.
Yeah.
The moral of the story is, gentlemen, don't cheat on your wives.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You don't know how crazy the chick is you're cheating with.
So you kind of have to wonder what's going on with Michael Douglas that he keeps getting himself involved in these situations.
Yeah, I know, right? It's not on any of our lists, but it is on one of the viewers' shout-out lists. Another character that he gets involved in that he shouldn't have.
What's Michael Douglas? Come on.
It's Michael Douglas just putting his dick in the wrong places. I mean, yeah, because he went from like Romancing the Stone, which is a great comedic film with great chemistry with Kathleen Turner in that film, and then pivoted right into this movie. Affairs in the United States went down by 82% that year. That's not an official quote, so don't quote me on it. It's not an official number, but yeah, I believe it's probably about 82%.
Only one year had a bigger drop, and that was the Bobbitt case year.
Yeah. At the end, during that year, guys were going to bed with cups on.
Security systems.
Yeah, Fatal Attraction is a good movie, and it's one of those movies that does the jump scare right, where you think she's dead, and then all of a sudden she jumps up and goes in for one more attack. And sometimes it's cliche, sometimes it's corny, but it's done really well in this film. So if you like a good sexual thriller and you haven't seen Fatal Attraction before, you should check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Next one on Mike's list is another one I didn't expect to see on your list, Mike, but I'm kind of glad you chose this one too, because this is another one I think the time is forgotten.
It is one. Yes. Oh my God, she was beautiful.
And thus you understand the quandary in this film.
Yeah. This is Peyton Flanders, Rebecca De Mornay from The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, 1992.
I like how you said her name. It almost sounded like Count the Money from History of the World. Rebecca De Mornay, yeah.
De Mornay.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I saw this in the theater.
Did you really? In 92?
In 1992, I saw this in the theater. I think I took a girl that I was going out with.
I mean,
you got to remember, I grew up in South Philly. It didn't matter if the movie was rated R; they were letting you in the fucking theater. They didn't care.
it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, but
You're going to show her how mature I am.
Yeah. Let's go see The Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Chicks dig mature guys.
I'll tell you the reason I wanted to see it. Aside from Rebecca De Mornay, Annabelle Sciorra was in it. I talked with her too, because she was in the other Michael Douglas movie that we're talking about.
Oh man!
So Yeah, Julianne Moore was in this too. I forgot she was in this.
Yeah,
Yeah, Ernie Hudson.
it's been a lot. Yeah,
The one that always like freaked me out about, because at the time I was watching a lot of Next Generation because it's 1992. John Delancey, who played Q, is the doctor that sexually abuses Anna Sciorra's character at the beginning of the film, and I'm like, wow, Q. I was just surprised that Q was in the film. This is a good one. It's another like time to forgot movie that time forgot, man.
Yeah.
So, everybody's got some really good choices though tonight. So you might want to send your hate mail to Kevman is sexy at friendster.com.
Yeah, because we're picking up the.
But at the same time, this is a fun episode so far.
And I highly doubt anyone's gonna like say our chosen women are
not villains.
Character, right?
Let's put it this way: like men are dumb, and most of us would probably fall for some of these plots just based on if the woman looks like Rebecca De Mornay in this picture.
Oh, absolutely,
most definitely,
absolutely. Okay, my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my character was portrayed by two different actresses at different time periods. But the one that I think we're all familiar with is Mildred Ratched, played by Louise Fletcher in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 1975.
Yeah, like the other one you're talking about was
Sarah Pullman.
Sarah Pullman, who played it in the TV show Nurse Ratched, right?
Pullman, I should say, yes, on the Netflix TV show, and that was a TV show I couldn't stomach. I mean, you guys know me, I just can't do gore. Megan watched it though. She was like, "Oh, she's so evil." But yeah,
I mean, you get that from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. How evil she is.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. How miserable she is to the patients. How she treats Jack Nicholson's character. Yeah,
like she is just. She's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like Mike said with one of his choices, that it's not like a violent evil.
Right.
Like hers is kind of a violent evil, but it's more like a sadistic, soft-spoken evil. That's just Louise Fletcher won the Oscar for Best Actress for that role. And it's funny because a lot of times when somebody wins an Oscar, it kind of boosts their career, and her career went nowhere after that. She ended up like basically just doing a lot of like TV movies the rest of her career. But that's a good one too. Can you name other actors in that film?
Danny DeVito, Christopher Lloyd.
Oddly enough, not the first time Christopher Lloyd played a insane asylum patient in a film.
No, you're kidding me, right?
That was actually, I think it was Danny DeVito's first acting role.
Was it?
I think it was. It might have been, because it wasn't. It was before Taxi, because Taxi didn't start till like a year or two later.
Right.
So I think it
might have been other people like role. I can recognize to see them. I can recognize them, but I couldn't tell you the actor or actress's name.
Here's the interesting fact about this movie too. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. The producer of the movie, who won an Oscar for it, was Michael Douglas.
He does all these women movies.
So Michael Douglas, before Michael Douglas, pivoted into acting, he was actually a producer in Hollywood, and so he produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So he has two Oscars, one as an actor for Wall Street, and one as a producer for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's me, folks. I'm full of a lot of useless information, and when I'm buzzed like I am, I just love to share it.
He must have been really young for that movie then, as a producer, though.
Yeah, he was probably like his 20s, but you have to think like he also is coming from
Hollywood,
royalty with Kirk Douglas and all that. So he had a little bit of an in anyway. He was on a TV show at the time too. He was on a cop show called The Streets of San Francisco or something like that. Yeah. Next one we have here on my list. I know Mike is mad at me for taking this one, probably.
No, that's not.
No, you're not. No, it's because you prefer Anne Hathaway.
No, I didn't. I didn't go.
Comic book
villains. I wasn't going that way.
I did. I had to because I always talk about this one. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman in Batman Returns from 1992.
But is she actually the villain? Because
bad enough for me.
Well, no,
I know they portray her sympathetically in this film because she's, abused by the Max Schreck character played by Chris Walken and
Penguin.
The Penguin. They're the bigger villain. She's more like
but she does side with the Penguin at one point.
Right.
Would she be an anti-hero?
I guess kind of an anti-hero, but she is technically considered, I think, the villain of the film. But at the same time, it gave me an excuse to put Michelle Pfeiffer in the Catwoman costume.
You didn't want to put Uma Thurman up there for Poison Ivy?
Poison Ivy? Yeah, I thought about Poison Ivy.
Because she was such a good Poison Ivy.
I actually thought she was probably the best part of that movie.
Not her fault. It was a bad script.
I think is best part of that movie.
Not the nipples.
Wait a minute. I have to disagree. Alicia Silverstone getting put in her bat suit was a really nice part of that.
That's the next movie.
Yeah.
Well, that was the next one. That was the one with
No, that was it. That was Batman.
No, that was it. No, you're right. That's the one because Dr. Freeze was in that one.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr.
Freeze.
He never got a doctorate.
Schwarzenegger never got his PhD.
I only got my master's.
Get to class.
I don't finish my thesis.
So let's move on here. So Mike's next one. I know Mike can't wait for this one because he wants me to put this picture up on the screen.
Catherine. I'm going to butcher the last name.
I think it's like Mertiel or something like that.
Mertiel. Sarah Michelle Gellar from Cruel Intentions, 1999. Another psycho intellectual villain.
Psychosexual thriller too.
Yeah.
Manipulative.
Whew.
Mike's speechless right now because of the picture.
Well, also thinking that you got her, you've got
Reese Witherspoon,
Selma Blair.
There's a lot of in that
even Ryan Phillippe was really pretty back then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So this it's funny. It's like this is a adaptation of a film that is a remake of another film that's an adaptation of a book. So it's Cruel Intentions is an adaptation of Dangerous Liaison, which is an adaptation of a French film called Velmont, which is an adaptation of a book called Velmont, La Dangerous Liaison. Did they remake Cruel Intentions recently? Wasn't there like a reboot or something?
That's good. I mean,
or could it might like a teen drama series,
No, what's a remake? I have it here. Cruel Intentions 2024.
Oh, did they?
So it came out. Oh no, you're right, Kev. It was a series.
Yeah.
It was a TV series on Prime Video, and it lasted one season, 8 episodes, and it was canceled.
Yeah, well,
it looks like it's the same like basic story though, just updated and with younger actors and all that, but because they have all the same character names.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think the original is still. And by original, I mean the film that's based on the movie, based on the book.
Yeah. This one right here.
Yeah, the American version.
This one goes.
Not the one with John Malkovich and.
That's actually a good film. That's John Malkovich, Glenn Close, and Uma Thurman. I think is in that one too.
It's Michelle Pfeiffer.
Isn't it, or maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
I'm pretty sure.
I just had it up here too. Dangerous. This is good podcasting right here, folks. We're so on the ball.
We research well.
Yeah, this is This is one greased machine.
Hey, I'm good because I'm just gonna sit here and look at the picture all night.
I'm so drunk right now.
It's Glenn Close, John Malkovich, Michelle
Glenn
Pfeiffer.
Close, John Malkovich, Michelle Pfeiffer, Swoozie Kurtz, Keanu Reeves, Uma Thurman.
Oh, we were both right.
And Peter Capaldi. Doctor Who was in Dangerous
And
Liaison.
Mildred Netwick.
So, Mike, you have anything else to say? Because I'm going to take this picture down now. I'm sorry. I can text it to you if you want.
Nah, I can find it myself. Okay.
I can find it myself. We know Mike's doing later. Kev, what's your next one?
Gonna bring up pictures of that one. Hers, Elma, as Daphne, and
Daphne, Buffy. So here's Kev's next one.
Yes, Miranda Priestley, played by Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada, which came out in 2006. Based off of real life magazine. Sorry, that was coming up anyway. It's the one where the woman is like the dragon lady. Right? It's Miranda Richardson, not Miranda Richardson. God, no, not her. Meryl Streep plays Miranda Priestley, who is the owner or the person in charge of one of the big high fashion magazines. And she's very mean to her employees. She makes them chase down things and take her kids to parks and
personal assistants.
Yeah.
I remember the one thing she does in the film is she makes Anne Hathaway's character get an early copy of the Harry Potter book for her granddaughters or something.
Right, the one that hasn't even been published.
Yeah.
She's
friends with J.K. Rowling.
And then the process of getting Anne Hathaway's character to like be her beck and call girl. Anne Hathaway, who's a fresh out of college, writer, wants to be a journalist, is like losing her friends and losing who she is, and just kind of falls down in that direction.
And turns out just like her.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's also the film debut of Emily Blunt, who plays the other assistant in The Office.
Yes.
And Stanley Tucci in it, who's in a really good role in that film.
Does he not do a good role in anything?
Oh, he's amazing. I love Stanley Tucci.
Mm-hmm.
Kev, were you with me when we went to see Lady in the Water and Katie went to see Devils Wear Prada instead?
Well, yes, that you and I had gone to see one movie, and Katie and the girl I was seeing at the time went to see The Devil Wears Prada. Wait, did we see
We saw Lady in the Water.
Did we see The Expendables?
No, The Expendables you and I went to, that was later. That came out way later than that.
Okay.
It was you, me, and my friend Nick that I used to work with went to see Lady in the Water because we were all Shyamalan fans.
Yep.
And Katie and the girl you were seeing at the time went to see Devil Wear Prada.
Yes.
And we came out of the theater and they were like, "How was it?" And I was like, "We should have went to see Devil Wears Prada with you."
I was really impressed by that one character that had the super buff arm from just lifting the one weight.
I just laughed at that character because I had a friend who always joked about wanting to work out one arm. And I was like, "You could have been in the movie, dude." But yeah, that's a good one too, man. And again, like you can argue she's not the villain. Like she does.
That's just her personality. She does.
It's just her personality. She wants perfection because at the end she does help Anne Hathaway's character out.
Yeah.
Gives her a recommendation for her job and all that. So I'll move on to my next one. So my fourth one on my list, we each did 5 tonight. So this is my number 4. A lady that made Pink evil. Imelda Staunton as Dolores Umbridge in the Harry Potter films. There she is. Whew. The reason I put her on my list is a personal one. I had this reputation when I taught high school of getting in trouble with the superintendents that we had in the system I worked in. Mainly because I was the union head and I was a very outspoken guy. And she reminded me a lot of one of the superintendents that I worked for. And so watching Dolores Umbridge in the Harry Potter films gave me a little PTSD.
Dude, I swear to God, Adrian can vouch for this. When I went upstairs last week after we did the podcast, and this was the thing we did, my first one was I told her, I'm like, I'm doing this was going to be number one on my list was her because just how cruel she is to children.
Because you got to think, like, in a movie that has Bellatrix Lestrange and Voldemort, she's the scariest one.
Yes.
Yeah, just this. What's the punishment she does? Where like they got like,
I should not tell lies.
I shall not tell lies. Like, she's the room with all the cats and the dishes that are meowing all the time, and and yeah, she makes Pink evil, man.
Yes, she does.
She is just such a hateful character, and it's funny because the actress who plays her, for all intents and purposes, is like a sweetheart. When you see her in like interviews and stuff, like she's really nice.
She does a very good Queen Elizabeth.
She plays Queen Elizabeth in the series on Netflix, and she's in Much Ado About Nothing, the Kenneth Branagh. Yeah, she plays one of the servants in that film, and she's really good in that too. It's like it's amazing. You know, it shows you how good an actress she is. That she could be so despicable despite being such a nice person in real life. But yeah, like she was one of the first ones that popped into my head when I started thinking about this list. So let's go on to Mike's next one here. One that we actually talked about recently on an episode. And that is your number 4 right there.
Oh, was it Aline?
Mm-hmm.
From Monster, played by
Charlize Theron.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't have my name. I don't have my notes in front of me at the moment. I don't know why I can't get up. There we go.
I have not seen this movie. I don't feel it's I can.
It's not one of your kind of films.
Did she win the Oscar for this?
She won an Oscar for this for Best Actress. It's an intense movie. It's based on a true story.
Yeah, she's a serial killer.
She was a serial killer. Again, she's somebody that the movie tries to argue that it was circumstances that made her that way because she was like abused and raped and things like that. And she goes on like a serial killing spree, killing a bunch of men as like retaliation. So yeah, is she a villain? Maybe. Is she sympathetic? Maybe. Mike, why'd you choose it?
Because she scares the bejesus out of me.
Says a lot considering it's being played by Charlize Theron.
Did you shave her eyebrows off for this?
Yeah, I mean, she did like a total makeover, man. It's a lot of prosthetics and just a lot of time in the makeup chair, man, to make her look like that.
I bet.
What was it we were doing that we showed a clip from this? Was it actors like playing against type or something like that?
Probably.
I think it was the episode we did. I showed a clip of her killing somebody.
Yeah, with the guy with his pants falling down by.
Yeah. She takes a guy into the woods and kills him. Yeah. So that's a good one too, man. Charlize Theron is Eileen Wuornos. So let's go to Kev's because Kevin can't wait for me to bring up whatever photo I chose for this movie. Let me bring up the
good movie.
I know. Here, I'll bring up the photo for you, and then you can talk about it. There you go.
Oh,
there you go. This is Nicole Kidman portraying. The character's name was Suzanne Stone in the movie To Die For, which came out in 1995. This is about a local. I think she's a meteorologist. She's definitely on the news. And she's delusional. She's narcissistic. She wants to be big. She wants to make it to network. Mm-hmm. And in the process, she marries this guy. She's trying to get his money. She hangs out with some kids who she meets on a career day kind of thing. And she starts having an affair with the one kid who's in high school, played by Joaquin Phoenix. She kind of convinces him that you have to kill my husband so that I can get the money. It's really, I have to rewatch it again. It's been too long, but it's such a good movie.
Isn't Joaquin Phoenix in this film too?
Yeah, he said that already. You missed that.
Yeah, I missed.
You're paying attention. I'm glad you're paying attention.
No, I missed it because my wife came in to ask me a question, so I didn't have my headphones on. But
yeah.
Yeah, she's like, are you done? Are you guys done? Because it got quiet. I said, I don't talk all the time. And she went, bullshit.
Yeah.
That makes me think my wife must be the one that sent the text.
Yeah, she said the text. Yeah.
What you doing in the bathroom all the time? Why don't you get out of there?
Give somebody else a chance. So, yes, I was listening at first, and then I had to stop. I took my headphones off, so I missed you talking about Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, the kid that she had the affair with, that she tried to get to kill the husband.
Yeah, it was Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. I've never been like a really big Nicole Kidman fan, but I like this movie with her. For reasons.
Like, he reminds me of our local meteorologists. You know, this is like Cecily Tynan.
You think Cecily Tynan's getting ready to kill somebody? Hiring some kid to kill her husband?
Probably, but, you know.
Yeah. Cecily Tynan, if you're listening, we're kidding. My last one on my list is Alien Queen from Aliens, played by herself in the 1996 film Aliens. There she is. There's that beauty right there. Get away from her, you bitch! So when I was thinking of my list, I was like, you know what, man? I'm going outside the box on this one. She's a female. She's a villain. And that counts. So I went with the Alien Queen from Aliens. Again, another one you can kind of argue, you know, I mean, Ripley was killing all of her kids, so she was defending them. But she was also trying to get her hand on Newt. So that was my last one, the Alien Queen from Aliens. I don't think I have to say any more than that. Let's go to Mike's last one right here. Let's go to yours. There we go.
Well, let me talk about this one just for a minute. I had two. I went with this one because, you know, I was hoping somebody would bring up the other one, and they did in the
the viewer ones.
Our viewer ones, yep. One of our viewers brought it up. It would have been yes. The the new normal podcast.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll talk about that one afterwards. So just talk about this one for now.
This one, the Wicked Witch of the West, from the Wizard of Oz, played by Margaret Hamilton. Come on, that is the embodiment of evil right there.
Now, see, if you see the film Wicked, she's not evil by choice. She was framed and she faked her death, and it was, you know, if you watch Wicked, there's a whole story.
No. We're just going with the Wizard of Oz, and the Wizard of Oz, she's downright just wicked. She is evil.
She's evil.
She has flying monkeys. She's going after this poor little girl that just wants to go home to Kansas. You know,
she
go get that cute little dog.
She pulls the stuffing out of the scarecrow, and
me over there. That's you all over the place.
Right,
poor cowardly lion, you know, is shivering somewhere. Come on.
I like that she made an appearance on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where she brought the cape and she brought the hat, and she was.
Did she she went to like the land of make believe, and
she went to the land of make believe, but she didn't. I mean, they had to sit down and she was just trying to describe to Mr. Rogers, like, no, I'm playing a part and I change, you know. So right now I'm pretending that I'm a wicked witch, but I'm pretending. But then I can become, you know, Margaret. And, you know, fine.
Even her human version in the Oz, the one that wants to take Toto away. Come on, she's evil there too.
I thought she was scarier there than she was as the witch.
Mhm.
Margaret Hamilton, yeah, and I think she even did it on Sesame Street too. I think she appeared one time as the witch. It might have been like the same time she was on the Mister Rogers show,
Yeah.
and did something like that. I think she
Yeah,
like
yeah.
scared Big Bird or something.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta go through that PBS circuit, you know.
Yeah, she is in one of my favorite movies of all time, The Music Man. Musical comedy from the 1960s. She has a bit part in that, but she's really funny. And she's one of the nuns. No, it's a different actress. I'm sorry. I thought she was one of the nuns in Sister Act, but that's a different actress.
Oh,
Yeah, I think by then
she's a little further beyond that. So
yeah.
but yeah, Margaret Hamilton. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
And Kevin's last one. I'm mad that I didn't think of this one first. This is one of my favorites, man. This is a great villain character. This is also her film debut.
Yeah. This is Sharon Stone playing Lori in Total Recall, the 1991, where she is an agent. I mean, she's
Married to Arnold.
Arnold's wife, right? And
Mhm.
Arnold's living his life, but he always wants to he sees these things about traveling to Mars and things kind of like, oh, I really want to do this Total Recall thing where I can take a vacation. And she's convincing him not to do it. Essentially, he is a spy, or I'm sorry if it's a spoiler alert, but he's like an agent
what?
that had his mind erased.
Damn it. I was going to watch that tonight.
I know. And she is his tracker, his keeper, his, just to keep an eye on him, to make sure that, he doesn't gain his memory back. And the fight sequence, And then she just right between the eyes. I mean, it was barely a second thought.
Consider that a divorce.
Consider that a divorce.
The scene that I put up here is one of my favorites. Is when he first finds out that she's not his real wife, and and she's just been planning to keep an eye on him, and she's like trying to distract him because Michael Ironsides, who plays her actual husband in the film, is on his way up, and she's like, "Come on, you want to go around one more time for old time's sakes? I'll let you tie me up." And he goes, "I didn't know you were so kinky." And then as she's like smiling about it, he sees the guys on the camera coming up to the apartment, and he turns to her and he goes, "Clever girl." And this is, mind you, 3 years before Jurassic Park came.
Hey, that's almost Shakespearean acting from Arnold with that. Come on now.
Don't knock it, dude. I love Arnold. I told you I would love to do an Arnold episode one day.
we can do that. There's plenty.
Not a tumor.
Oh, you guys start back earlier. That we gotta go back to Conan.
Conan.
We gotta start at Conan.
Yeah, but I love my favorite line in Total Recall is "Get your ass to Mars." And it's funny. So Sharon Stone is somebody you could bring up for another film. Unfortunately, some of our listeners did. So we're going to move on to our listener viewer submission segment. And I'm going to let Kevin read the first one because this is the gentleman whose name he belched through a couple episodes ago, giving us
Hi, Bruno. Nice to hear from you. Thank you for chiming in. You chimed in with Sharon Stone's performance in Basic Instinct, and I'm sure we're all remembering certain scenes from that movie.
Yeah, I will never look at ice picks and beavers the same way again.
Pick out from underneath the bed.
I remember sneaking into the theater to see that as a kid, and then realizing I live in South Philly, nobody gives a shit, so I went to go see it 2 more times in the theater. Yeah, I'll never look at ice picks and beavers the same way again.
No.
So that was the one that we missed on our list, another Sharon Stone one, but I'm glad that Mike Bruno 52822 who gave us that one on Threads. I'll take the next one here because I don't know if Mike wants to try to read this name. I don't know if I know how to read this name. I'm going to go with Sharana Hona, aka Sharon, who sent us this on Instagram. She agreed with me on Annie Wilkes in Misery, played by Kathy Bates. So yes, I agree with you that one, Sharon, on that one. Thank you for your submission. So, Mike, you want to take the third one there?
So the third one is Mean Streets, the film noir podcast, X.com. Kathy Moffat, played by Jane Greer, out of the past, 1947. One of the best, at least for their money.
So, Mean Streets Film Noir Podcast just started following us on X. We follow them. Their podcast is all about film noir films. So they, obviously are suggesting for us a film from that, popular noir Hollywood period from 1940s. And I've said on the show before, like my expertise in film doesn't really go much earlier than the 1960s. I have a little bit of a blind spot on older films. But when they sent us the submission, I checked it out on IMDb, and it stars Robert Mitchum, very early role for him. Looks like a really good movie. Sounds like it's a really good movie. So I definitely put it on my list of movies that I have to check out at some point. It's not available anywhere right now, so I have to maybe do a little quote unquote dark web digging. But I'll find it and give it a watch. It sounds like a really good film. So Kev, why don't you take that next one there?
Sure. Jacked Up Review Show podcast on X.com also agreed with me. Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah. I have to agree with that one too. I mean, we all agreed with that one. Yeah, and there are Jacked Up Review Show podcasts are members of our Podcast United group on X. I'll take the next one here. Candid AD 8866 on Reddit said, "Am I remembering correctly that Regina George, played by Rachel McAdams from Mean Girls, was good or just memorable? Haven't seen it in forever. Does that count as a villain?"
I was considering her. Yeah, I was considering her. She definitely, she was a bully.
She's a bully.
She's a villain, and it's a high school-based show.
The movie is called Mean Girls.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the head mean girl, so I would call her
the head mean girl. That's a really good one. It's one of Rachel McAdams' first films.
Shopping, and
I just realized I still have Sharon Stone.
Yeah. I just looked up and you still have Sharon Stone.
Let me take her off. So, Mike, you want to take the next one here? This is one of our. This is the text message that we got recently
from our anonymous text. Was L Driver Daryl Hannah. Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Kill Bill films. I'm a big Tarantino fan, so I definitely like these movies. And this is a really good choice. I don't know who the person is that texted me because, again, I don't get anybody out there. If you want to send us a message on our text line, you're welcome to, but please identify yourself so I know who to give the shout out to on the show. L Driver is a character Daryl Hannah plays as a hit woman. Tasked with killing the bride character played by Uma Thurman in the film, and L Driver is one mean motherfucker. That's a really good choice. Kev, take the next one there.
Okay. We have Jeremy Bryant at the Paranormal, the New Normal podcast on X.com.
This was the one I was going to put as my number 5.
Jeremy Bryant believes that Jenny, played by Robin Wright in Forrest Gump, is the ultimate villain.
Jeremy Bryant, host of Paranormal New Normal, a new member of the Pod Nation Media Network, a show that Mike and I have guested on in the past. I laugh because I see this all the time on the internet that Jenny is a villain. And I'm like, it's arguable. Is she a villain? I don't know. Is she a piece of shit? Probably.
She plays with that man, that poor mentally challenged man's life is all that lives him with a kid.
Yeah, and leaves him with the kid, and yeah, like she does do a lot of like really questionable things in the film. Does it make her a villain? I don't know. Does it make her a piece of shit? Yes, probably. But, it's a good one anyway. It's one that I laughed at when I saw because it's one that I see on the internet all the time. Like on list of number 1 villains in films, and it's always like Jenny from Forrest Gump. And the last submission we have here is from some guy named Kevin on Instagram who said Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music.
Maria?
Sounds about right.
I was like, because when you got a movie that stars
Sounds
Julie
about right.
Andrews versus the Nazis, of course Julie Andrews is the villain.
She moves in on some other woman's man.
No.
Like her first.
She is brought in by the captain. He brings her in.
No, the church center in there.
Well,
Church is deep state.
He asked
Church.
He asked the church to send him somebody, and they sent there.
I'm sitting back and just enjoying the fact that you two guys are actually getting into an argument about this. Is Maria Julie Andrews' character in Sound of Music a villain? Get the
out of here.
My wife's submissions are Carrie's mom and Carrie. No, they're all gonna laugh at you. Yes, Piper Laurie and Carrie is a horrifying character. She also gave us Bellatrix Lestrange, played by Helena Bonham Carter in the Harry Potter series. Yes, definitely a villain. Definitely scary.
Not as much as the other one.
Not as much as the other one, but she's still a pretty scary villain. And Angelica Houston as the leader of the witches in Roald Dahl's The Witches, which is I thought a good one. Yeah, not one that not anybody else mentioned. So shout out to my wife for that one. And then I have an honorable mention here. I don't like the film. I think it's kind of a bad film, but I really, really like her performance in it. It's Helena Bonham Carter again as the Red Queen in Alice in Wonderland. The Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland.
Oh man, she does. You can put her in a lot of different films where she could.
Yeah, you definitely could.
You can put Sweeney Todd.
Yeah,
she's not the main villain, but she is definitely villain in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she could.
She knows how to play it, but she can also play good characters too. So she's
like
amazing actress.
And Enola Holmes, his mother.
And Enola Holmes, yeah. Mike, you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I got a fun fact for you.
Mm-hmm.
The Molson Canadian Brewery in Montreal is Canada's oldest brewery, having started brewing beer in 1786. It also stands as the oldest brewery in North America. D.G. Yingling and Sons in Pottsville, Pennsylvania, founded in 1829, is America's oldest beer.
You know what beer I saw the other day, and I was like, man, I haven't had one of those in a while. I got to get some. Is a Stella Artois. When I feel like drinking my beer with my pinky out, I drink a Stella.
Get it now before it's $85
yeah, I know. Kev, we got to send him a quote of the week.
We do. Yay! Sorry, guys. I'm working with one computer here. Our quote of the week. Films in life are like clay, waiting for us to mold it. Mold it.
Hey, it comes out of the book.
Films
just
in
like
life
that.
are like clay.
You gotta hump it into submission.
Figured it would have come from Shirley MacLaine.
And since Shirley MacLaine believes in reincarnation, you can just mold it again and again and again. So anyway, before I pass out on air, thank you everybody for joining with us tonight for episode 188. Is this 188? I got to double check. That was 187. Thank you for joining us tonight for episode 187. That shows you the state I'm in right now. Our favorite female movie villains. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can send us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. You can find us on linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. You can support us on Patreon. You can buy our merchandise at Teespring. You can text us, as some people have done, 904-867-4466. Please let us know who you are so I can give you a proper shout out on the show. And also, we're going to be doing a mailbag episode at some point. So if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, anything you'd like to throw our way, please do so we can bring that up on the mailbag episode. Keep in mind, we are going to be taking a little week off for Mike's vacation that he has coming up. So our next full episode will be airing on April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. And we have a very special episode lined up for that date. So don't forget to stop by the crossroads between Pickled and Fermented that time around, because we're going to be doing a live episode for episode 189. Our April Fool's episode is going to be, is it real or is it fake? We're going to look at some plot descriptions and try to figure out if they were talking about real movies or movies that I made up for our April Fool's special. So that'll be live, so you can join us in the chat for that episode. Once again, this is the Films and Fermentation podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
Mike.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good night.